Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this. You clicked on your phone or wherever, maybe your computer, on this episode. Welcome to this episode of the podcast, The Spectre of Anti-Blackness. I am your host, as you know, and a little different today. It's not sleepy hours. It's not the dog hours of night. I don't know if that's a real saying. Um, it's actually uh morning. It's not even at noon yet, let alone after that. Um, so it's been a little while since we've done an episode, and I wanted to do one because I like doing them, regardless of if people watch them or even like them. Uh, I guess some updates and maybe actually doing one of the things that I was gonna that I'm gonna update about, which I feel like I do way too many update episodes. I feel like I've done like two and I only have like maybe 10 to 15 episodes. Um, like how often do you need to update it? Just if you're gonna make a change, do it. Um, but yeah. So I have a little list of things that I want to watch. Um, some of them I just didn't watch when they came out because I was doing other stuff and I got too busy or I didn't feel like it or just never got around to it or other circumstances like not being born and stuff like that. And maybe some of these I saw when I was a kid but just don't remember or whatever. So I have a little list of films that I want to watch um, and potentially talk about on the cast. Candyman. I haven't seen that yet. I wanted to see it. I don't know why I never did. I was like, ooh, I want to see it, and then I just didn't. Concrete Cowboy may be on the list. I like Idris Elba. He's cool. Um, and also Stranger Things kid is he's I like westerns. I like cowboy stuff. I like black people. Um, so that might be a fun little romp. Who knows? I gotta watch Coming to America. I saw Coming to America um, only last year. I hadn't seen it before then. Um, I thought it was fine. Um, and so now he has Coming to, like with the number two, dos, uh, do, Coming to America. And I haven't seen that yet. I heard because like my sister watched it and I was like, "Is it good?" And she's like, no, like it's fine, but whatever." So I gotta check out for myself, and maybe we'll talk about it. One Night in Miami. I haven't seen it. Uh, this kind of came out around another thing that was big around the time. I don't remember what it was, but my energy like kind of all gravitated towards that instead of One Night in Miami. I think it might have been Underground Railroad. I don't remember. Um, that's the main list, and then there's like other things that like I'm thinking of watching that I haven't seen in a while or at all. Like I gotta see Blue Collar. I gotta see Life. I gotta see the spook who sat by the door or just stood by the door. It's one of those. Um, one is the name of the book. One's the name of the movie. I think is how that goes. I don't remember. Um, and I gotta see They Call Me Mr. Tibbs. Um, I like Sidney Poitier. He's cool. I don't know if that's actually a considered a black film or not. You know. Uh, but yeah, that's my watch list. I don't really have as much time as I used to kind of just like sit back and like watch like I used to. Um, but what have I been doing since we last caught up? Where I leave you guys off on is what you might be asking me right now. In which case, weird to ask questions to your podcast. Um, I can't hear you, right? But I've been thank you for asking. if you did, um, I've been I have been watching some stuff, playing some stuff. Um, in terms of playing, uh, Dead by Daylight. I mean, nothing to really report there. Overwatch 2 recently came out. Um, and the new hero Sojourn was released. Um, as I mentioned before, she's Canadian. So, and also two more heroes. We got another Japanese hero and another Australian hero. Um, so I don't know. We're getting to this point where we're dipping into different like cultures and stuff like multiple times. Like we've got I think at least three people from Australia now. We got Junkrat and Roadhog and Junker Queen. Um, from the Isle of Japan, we have Kiriko and Genji and Hanzo. Um, Russia's got Zarya. Europe has basically everyone else except Lucio's from Brazil and Reaper's from Mexico. Doomfist and Orisa are from. Doomfist specifically is from Nigeria, which is cool, but he's also a villain, so I mean, yeah. Um, but Doomfist and Orisa are from Africa. Um, and then Baptiste, who was black, is he's French. Widowmaker. Well, yeah, that's included in the European. But when I said European, I wasn't talking about the black characters. And then May is Chinese. What am I missing? What am I missing? Uh, Robots are usually like Zenyatta is he's a robot. He's an Omnic, so he doesn't really have a nationality, but he follows like he's got like a vaguely, not even vaguely, like he's very heavily implied to have this origin or at least influence from like uh I don't know if it's like Buddhism or maybe like Tibetan monk kind of style. I'm not really sure. Haven't done much studying in that realm in a while. But anyway, there's also some Americans. Um, there is oh, sorry. Before we get there, Anna is another black character. I don't know how black she is. She's from Egypt, but I don't know. Most Egyptians are like Arabic these days, right? I mean, um, Arabs. I don't know. She has a daughter who is half Egyptian, and she has a Native American father, I believe, which is cool. Like that's we at least have indigenous Americans. Um, and then in America we have Soldier 76, just regular white guy. Um, God, I think that's all the characters. All the black ones anyway. I don't know why I include Soldier in that. Um, yeah, freaking Sigma. I don't know where he's from. Hammond is a hamster. Winston's a monkey, scientist, whatever. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's so interesting. Like we have characters like Farah, who like she's an Egyptian Native American mix, and we still don't have just like a black character, like African American black. You know. Um, will we ever get one? Honestly, doubt it. Especially, I mean, okay. Uh, Blizzard has been going through a lot of shit recently, as I'm sure anyone who keeps up with the gaming community will know. If you don't know, um, the Blizzard today is not the Blizzard of the past. Not how I know it anyway. Um, Heyday Blizzard is like, um, these guys who had like a love for, video game development and, you know, passion for the projects they were working on and such. I think of Jeff Kaplan and probably others. Um, and they made World of Warcraft among other. I'm not gonna go into a whole Blizzard thing, But when I think of Heyday Blizzard, I think World of Warcraft, up to like at least Lich King. Um, and then uh, OG Overwatch, I think was like a pretty great thing. But behind the scenes, there's like a really bad culture and Blizzard of like you know sexual harassment, like real like growing up, fucking freaking freaking like college type, frat boy culture. Which I mean, yeah, sure, of course. Um, so a lot of people got fired or went to jail or quit, and they got bought out by Microsoft, who I assume is gonna try and tighten shit up real quick. Um, so I assume they're gonna start bringing a lot more people on board who are a little more diverse in terms of background. Does that mean we'll actually get our our first African American character? Before like the revamp of Blizzard, which is still in process, I don't even know if I can call it a revamp quite yet. I'm gonna say no, it wasn't gonna happen. Um, Now I give it like a 30% chance. I was gonna say 30 to 40, but 40 even seems a little high right now. Um, they already have, I think, 9 heroes in the pipeline who are already done. We're just waiting to be released. Um, Chances any of them are black. I mean, I have very little faith, but they might surprise me. Um, yeah, I haven't been playing anything else that is gonna pertain to you guys. But Overwatch, I'm having fun with it. It's Overwatch, whatever. We're not gonna get into that. What else? Watching. Yes, so I've been watching. I saw The Rings of Power, which I liked. I sit somewhere right in the middle between like on the far left you have like the die-hard, um, you know all the lore, gatekeeping Lord of the Rings fans and stands or what have you. And then over to the far right, you have the maybe saw the one or two of the movies, forgot a lot about it. Maybe saw all of them, but like when they were a kid, I don't know. Not much interest in it. Very extremely casual viewer. Um, can't tell any of the hobbits apart. I'm like right in the middle. Didn't actually read the books because I was a kid and I wanted to read them. And I remember going to the library and picking up the book, and I was like, "This is a thick book. I'm not gonna read this." So I put it back down. I think that was like sixth grade. Anyway, um, so I haven't read them, but I do. I watched the movies, all of the Hobbit movies, all of the original trilogy movies, theatrical, standard, extended, all of that for the original. Um, and I read a lot about it online sometimes, so like I know things here and there. Like I know about some of the lore and history and that sort of thing, but not too much. Um, didn't read the Silmarillion or anything like that. Uh, but I know it exists. So, I'm like somewhere in the middle there. And so I watched the show and I thought it was fine. Um, I feel like it was made for a viewer like me in the sense where I knew a lot of stuff. Like I was like, oh, Elrond and oh, Galadriel and oh, okay, so this is yeah, and this and that and oh, okay, so that's gonna be right. But I also don't know enough to be like, hey, that's not how that happened. That's not how they did that. Um, I kind of knew of Numenor in the sense I knew that like Aragorn was of this other race, but I was like, what? They lived for like how long? Like, yeah, like Aragorn died when he was like what, 140, 120, something. He died old. I don't remember the exact age now. But yeah, he's from Numenor, and then it's like, oh, this is, oh yeah, so, and then sure enough, Isildur comes up, and this is like, So, I feel like the show's probably made for someone like me. I've been enjoying it. Is it perfect? No, absolutely not, obviously. Um, is it um I'd say it's, just like a fine thing to watch here and there. Like I was excited for the next episodes to see what would happen next and stuff. Not my favorite show in the world or anything like that by far. I like how well black people are integrated into the show. Um, See, this wasn't a useless tangent. There was a lot of controversy around it from the communities of the internet about they were gonna, oh, there's gonna be a black dwarf and there's a black guy. There's like it's it's kind of funny in a way, but let me just explain. So there's like one black person for like each race, noticeably black anyway. Like who can really say what for sure? But there's a for the Numenorians who are like humans, it's pretty much all white. From what I can remember, uh, we haven't been in Numenor in a while, and the show's over now. They're working on season 2 or whatever. But the queen of Numenor is black, and from what we see of her dad, he looks white. I don't, I don't know how that happened, but I like how, and I was like, oh, okay, well, black woman in charge. Okay, sure, for sure, I'm down with that. The same for the dwarves. We only see she she's not queen of the dwarves. There's a king, and the king has a son who's next in line, and then he has a wife who is her. Um, I like her. She's cool. The interracial thing doesn't bother me in fantasy worlds. I've realized I'm fine with it because he's not really like the history's not there, so it's like whatever. Um, uh, and then there's a black elf who he's fine. He's okay. I like him. Got no problems with him. No quarrel. He has this really cool shot where they're like running out of the woods, arrows are flying at him, and he turns around and grabs an arrow mid-air and then uses it to shoot back at the orcs. I thought that was pretty badass. Um, and then of the proto hobbits, the alpha hobbits, um, hardfoots or whatever they're called. Um, there is there's this character, and then she's white. She's got a white dad, but her mom is black. Um, and I mean, like maybe she could pass as mixed, but I'm not seeing it. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. There are more. There's not one of each because there are more black people in the Hartfoots. Also, the leader of the Hartfoots is black. They put a lot of black people in leadership, which I thought was cool. Even though he dies at the end of this. Oh my God! Spoilers. I'm so sorry. um, if you were if if you were planning on watching the show and you didn't want anything spoiled, um, I'm sorry. I'll just put something in the description to watch out for spoilers. Um, yeah, no, he dies at the end. Um, and also he has these two advisors who were also dark skinned, which is two lady advisors. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, so I like how all in all, I like how the diversity is being added. It's not like in your face, like, oh, you're like boom. It's kind of just like, yeah, there's people and like they got darker skin, so what? I don't really know how it works in terms of like, do people even really know how race works in like, in terms of just like the real world? Are people darker and whiter because of thousands of years of living in a certain area and like, changes to the body and such, or is it like actual like different lineages and uh, what am I looking? What's the word I'm looking for? Um, how deep are the differences? I guess is my question. I don't really know. Uh, and then it's always interesting translating that into a fantasy world because it's like, okay, well, how do these people have lighter skin or darker skin? If you ask me, I mean, elves probably should have always been black. Hearing about them, like, aren't they like the people of the sun and stuff? They lived in this world of like, endless sun and day and summer and all this good shit. Like, I feel like white elves should probably be the minority if you're asking me. Um, but what do I know, man? I'm not a freaking anthropologist as of now. Who knows what the future holds? Anyway, so yeah, that's a show that I'm watching. Watched. Season 2 will be out. They want to get it out as soon as possible, so maybe it'll be out next year. Who knows? We'll see. I saw She-Hulk. I'll talk briefly on it because next to nothing. There's nothing about black people in there. There's black people in it, but they're no different than anyone else. Which is the way, slight tangent, which is the way that I see a lot of. I don't know if I've had the Disney talk in here yet, but Disney's really, really pushing that. Um, you know, Lindsay Ellis on YouTube made this really good video on it that I liked. I think it's called Woke Disney. About the Dumbo remake. And the original is it's got its flaws, man. It's pretty fucking racist in a couple places. And how do they adjust the racism in the remake? They don't. They just ignore it. They pretend like it never happened. And like me and my brother were talking about this a couple of days ago. I don't remember what the context was, but he was watching something and it was also noticeable in that too. And it's like there's got to be another way to address this. Like we can't just pretend like it didn't happen because it did. It's erasure at that point. Um, because kids aren't gonna grow up watching the old fucking racist Dumbo. They're gonna watch the new one, which is scraped clean of all that. So it's like Disney is slowly but surely erasing um, all traces of their history. There, yeah. So that's a thing. But that tangent was in reference to Marvel, owned by Disney, and I'm watching She-Hulk. Watched. That's also over. Um, She-Hulk was fine. There were things that I liked about it, things I didn't like about it. Um, I thought it was just okay. It wasn't perfect. Uh, but it was like a middle of the line thing to watch, kind of like Lord of the Rings, I guess, or Rings of Power, whatever you want to call it. My main gripe, which is related to the gripe everyone was having online, which is like I don't, she's the character's ruined. I can't have a woman superhero, whatever. Um, my only gripe is that every single man, I think, except for maybe literally two, is just a complete and utter asshole in the show. And I don't like it's like I feel like there's two different ways to do a character. By making them like superior in this kind of way. Either you can really make her superior or you can make everyone else around her inferior. So if you're not showing that yeah, she deals with some assholes here and there, but she knows how to handle it, yada yada. If just everyone sucks, then it almost feels like is the creators are the creators trying to say that like all men suck? I don't get it. Like there's not a single redeemable guy out there. Okay, by the end of the show there's two. But that wasn't really a big gripe of mine. It's just something I noticed, and I was like, this is weird. Every single guy sucks, and I don't know. I mean, maybe that was an artistic choice. Maybe that's really what it's like in the day of a woman living in the city. She's a lawyer and she's trying to just look out for love and you know keep her job, but she runs into all these asshole guys. Maybe they just disproportionately showed us the asshole ones, or maybe it wasn't even disproportionate. Maybe that's kind of just what life is like for women, like 80 to 90% of the guys you run into just on a day-to-day basis are really just that bad. And these guys on the show, they're like horrible. Like it's like, oh my god, the things you say and do, and just, like, are you not even a little self-aware? I guess it was drawing for me because I'm just not used to that in my own life. So I'm like, what? Like, that's crazy. But it's their show, it's their perspective. I can't fault them for that. So it's something I cared about less and less as the show went on. Um, Overall, thought it was fine. What else have I been watching? Saving the last one for last. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else before that. Oh, I was watching Andor. Um, that's the same as the Disney rant. It's there. It's the sure there's black people, but like whatever. Um, that show's fine. It's not over yet. What else am I watching, guys? Can anyone in the audience remind me? Anyone raise a hand? I saw Werewolf by Night. I thought that was good. This isn't a spoiler, but in the end, like it all turns to color, which I thought was weird. I was like, why'd you do that? It was fine just being black and white indefinitely, or forever, or for the whole thing, or whatever. But yeah, that was fine. It was good. Nice little romp. I like how they strayed away from the It's technically still a part of the MCU, but I like how they strayed away from all of that. That was cool. Oh, Dahmer. I didn't watch that shit. I'm not going to either. Um, Two major red flags for me. I wasn't gonna watch it in the first place. Um, but then just more and more kept getting added on. I was like, okay, I'm definitely not watching this now. One, I don't like true crime, like at all, not even a little bit. This show, this cast is all about, good things to consume, good things for your brain, your head belly, all that. And getting into the mind of a murderer, that doesn't really fall on the list often. Why do I need that in my brain? Why do I need that in my head? Why do I need all this craziness? I'll tell you why. I don't. So that was strike one. I don't like true crime to begin with. And then, um, he's eating black people, mostly like men and like kids. Like, what was the one kid, like 13 or 14 or something like that? Like, shit, I'm not, no. I'm not watching them seduce and eat black people. That's freaking weird. I'm okay. Don't need that in my life. Um, I heard the families were very distressed about the whole thing. Um, weren't I guess consulted from Netflix or compensated or anything like that. I don't know how any. I didn't really read too much into it because I'm trying not to get Dahmer shit on my feed. So whenever it comes up, I only read the headlines and I don't click on it because you know what clicks do on the world of the internet. Um, Unless it's something being critical of it, then I'm like, okay, I gotta read this. What are they saying? What's the deal? Which I guess is how biases and um, echo chambers and all that shit start. But whatever. Um, so yeah, didn't watch that. Don't plan to. Um, I guess that's it before the main event. Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock are going on tour. They'll be in Phoenix soon. The tickets look ridiculously expensive though, so I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I don't know if they're actually expensive or not. Like I don't know. I've never been to a comedy concert. I went to concerts before. Like I went to the Tyler the Creator ASAP one. That one was like maybe $100, even if that. I don't remember. These are like the lowest I saw was like three, and the highest we're talking about like 1,700. Like it's like for one ticket, like bro. And it's a small stage, and it's a huge arena, and it's like, what, you want me to be all the way in the freaking toppity top? Like I'd rather just watch it on Netflix, right? I mean, I don't know. Tickets went on sale to the general public today, so I'll check again and see if they are cheaper. I don't know what relevance that has, but Dave Chappelle, black comedian, he has content. Uh, freaking Okay, might as well just get to the main event. Might as well just stop holding it off. I can't. If something else comes up, I'll talk about it. But I think that's all I've seen, more or less. Atlanta. I'm currently watching. Um, Episode I think 6 maybe came out yesterday of the final season. I've only got like 4 episodes left. Um, I am not gonna spoil it, but it's a big reason why I wanted to make this cast today. Cause a lot of my distress around seasons 1 and 2 were around the dynamic that's finally like addressed in this issue. Sorry, in this episode. Um, and so it was just like ridiculously alleviating. I don't really know what the right word is. Satisfying isn't quite it either, but I guess satisfying. Um, to finally get, to finally see characters acting right, cause some motherfuckers in the early seasons were being some motherfucking dumbasses, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I haven't cried in a while. Not to get sad. It sounded a little sad when I said that. Just I don't know. Uh, Takes a lot to make me cry for some reason these days. I used to cry a lot, like at least once a year, up until I was like 19, maybe 20. Um, and that's like not like, yeah, I'd say a lot more frequent as a kid than like as I got older. It was like maybe once a year. Uh, but I haven't in a long while. It's been I think 3, and I don't really know why that is. Sometimes I feel like I want to, but and it's not like you know like a masculine thing, like, oh, men don't cry. Like, I'm fucking comfortable as hell with crying. It just won't come for some reason. I don't know if there's like a blockage, or I don't know what's going on. Um, Even in the most, and in very specific situations, like the 3 year when I cried 3 years ago, I got in this car accident, and I went home, and I hugged my mom. She comforted me, and then I cried. Um, but I don't think I have since. Um, and crying is natural and healthy, and it should be done. It releases stuff and does good stuff for your things. I don't know about cry science. But regardless, this was an episode where like I got the feeling like, oh, I could cry, but I can't for whatever reason. So I didn't. But watch it. If you haven't seen this one and you're caught up, watch it. If you haven't seen this one and you're not watching Atlanta, what are you doing? Go out, go. Don't stop. Cut this. Turn this off. Go watch Atlanta. Go. What's it on? Hulu. Kids, come on. Hulu subscription is like what? $14. Okay, look, listen here. Pay $14, instantly cancel, or just okay. You can pay the $14, watch the whole thing, instantly cancel it. It's only 4 seasons. You could do that in a month. You binge watch. I know you. Or you could get a free trial. I mean, come on. Hulu does free trials. So you could get a free trial. Watch it. How it will, by any means necessary. Get it done. If you're listening to this cast, that's my recommended show. Um, I know we didn't do the episode by episode thing like we did with the Underground Railroad, but they're just completely different shows, you know. But this has gone on long enough, and I haven't really said a ton. I don't feel like I guess I have. Um, I've talked about what's happened since the last episode and what'll happen moving forward. So another kind of updatey episode. But we also like reviewed stuff technically. Um, so I'm okay with this. There will be a full episode discussion of all of Atlanta when the last episode drops. And I believe that also coincidentally, I might have to check, I may be wrong, with the release of the new Black Panther movie. And guys, I flip flop on this all the time. When I first saw Black Panther, I was like, at first, I didn't really see the hype. I was like, whatever. It's like a fine movie, It's like not even the best Marvel movie. Like, it's a solid, like, maybe, it's middle of the line for Marvel, which is maybe like 7 out of 10. Um, and my thoughts on that have definitely changed. I like it a lot more now than I did. There's a lot of subtle things in it, which I appreciate. Now I could give it easily an 8 or 9. Uh, but the other side of it still lingers, which is at the end of the day, even with all of the black actors and black creators behind it, uh, at the end of the day, it's Disney's product. It's Marvel's product. It's Disney's product, and you're lining their pockets. You know, um, I talked about in the last episode, and I talk about often when I talk about this movie, how us black folk, we went out in droves to see this movie. I remember online people were saying they saw it 3 and 4 times. It shattered previous box office records until we got to Infinity War or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, guys. Like, it's really a conundrum that I've been having. Like, on the one hand, yeah, we want more representation and we want to see more of us on screen and getting paid for what's on screen. Um, but are we headed in the right direction? Is this true change, or are we being sedated? Is not the word I'm looking for. Pacified, or are we being pacified? It's like, oh, just throw them another black superhero, they'll be fine. Uh, I don't know. Not to mention T'Challa, Mr. Boseman, Chadwick Boseman passed. So he was a very big part of Black Panther for me. He played the part excellently. But honestly, it was him and Killmonger. And they killed Killmonger in the first one, which I was a staunch believer that that wasn't necessary, but dramatic purposes, whatever. It's Hollywood. Um, and now T'Challa's dead because Chadwick's dead. So it's like the main two heavy hitters of the first movie are now gone. So am I just staying for the Black Panther name? I don't know yet if my recommendation for this is going to be, yeah, sure, go out and see it, who cares, or don't go out and see it. Because at the end of the day, I mean, come on, you're probably giving your money to Disney somewhere else, right? Might as well be towards something that at least black people are in on, and maybe it's just little steps like that that we gotta take. Um, am I gonna go see it in theaters? I don't know yet. I've been thinking about this long and hard, guys. I don't know. I think not the first day. I think I'll wait it out a little bit, see what people are saying about it. Try to avoid spoilers, of course. I'm not a fan of spoilers. Which again, so sorry for spoiling Rings of Power. Or I mean, it's not a huge plot point, but he's a great character, and the death was unexpected. I wouldn't say it was unexpected, but I was like, oh no, that guy, you know. But they were on a suicide mission anyway. Kind of sucks. Only the black guy was the one who got killed. Um. Anyway. Uh. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna see it. I might wait. I'll update you guys, and then when I do see it, we'll definitely have another episode about that. So we have these may be full episodes, or it might be like done in parts about these other movies I talked about in the beginning of the cast. Um, and then we'll have the Atlanta one and the Black Panther one, which I thought would be the same, where it's like, okay, let's talk about Atlanta, and then let's talk about should we or should we not go see Black Panther. But now it just might be a Black Panther review, or maybe it could be both, like separate. I do the Black Panther review on my own as I always do, and we can still talk about whether we are or aren't going to see it on that first day. But that's all I have for today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I think I already talked about this one on a cast before, but Miria, that's Miiriya, kind of like a black-owned Amazon, more or less. The creator's been having a little bit of struggle recently. He's been reaching out trying to get some funding for it because it's completely, all profits go to the artists or creators or whatever. I don't know how he keeps the website and shop up and running, but I think he's fallen on some hard times. Um, I donated to him. I think just the profits that I got from the website. I don't know if I donated all of them, but like I sold a couple paintings at like $100, and then I was like, I just gave it to him. Anyway, go check out the app if you want to buy from black people. It's exclusively black people on there. I've been through the process. You gotta message media from either Instagram or Facebook from your personal account. So I guess you can see that you're black, and like, it goes from there, which I think is pretty cool. Um, yeah, so do that. I've also been trying to get into more black-owned local stuff. I'm not gonna ramble about this. You guys know what I'm doing in my life, man. I'm pro-black. I'm always trying to get into more black shit. If there's anything more to update you about, I will. But for now, um, I pray for you that this is my hope for you guys. Um, hmm, if you have any like ongoing disturbances with your body, like when you got like a popcorn kernel in your mouth or like an ache in your back you can't quite get, or whatever it may be, I hope that's alleviated today. Alleviate seems to be the word of the day. I hope your pain is alleviated today, and that you come back to a state of normalcy, of equilibrium. Because we forget how good equilibrium truly feels. Equilibrium truly feels. It's not like a that's kind of what happiness is. I feel like people get confused. They think happiness is supposed to be like elation. It's supposed to be like, being high. No, happiness is like it's contentedness, It's being content. Um, it's being cool. It's that's supposed to be the baseline. Is how I understand it anyway. All of the like extra excitement and stuff that we're being fed through media and what have you constantly, people are now looking at that as like baseline happiness, which I think that may lead to a lot of issues, but we're not really getting into that today. It's a long cast already. Um, if you want to hear more, comment, which I don't know if I've said this before, but you can only do that on Spotify apparently. Leave answers to my questions. Um, but yeah, I guess you can always just hit me up if you want to talk about it. We can arrange that. I'll set up a hotline for people who want to talk about the specter of anti-blackness. Wow, why have I never thought of this? Okay, so if you viewer or sorry listener, this isn't video. If you, dear listener, would like to talk to me about anything, uh, the specter of anti-blackness related, the number is 469-420-0809. That's 469-420-0809. Pretty cool number, right? Um, freaking yeah. So that's a thing if necessary. Um, is that a real number? Yes. Is it my main number? No. Um, it's like it's a Google Voice number, so it doesn't really hurt me for people to have it because it's like whatever. But don't do anything crazy with it. Regardless, I'm trusting you. Uh, and if you've listened 45 minutes into a what is like the 13th episode of a podcast, then I mean clearly someone's not out trying to get me unless you're really digging for something. In which case, relax. What did I do to you? I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm out of here. Take care. I'll see you guys. You guys will hear me in the next one, and I'll talk to you, but not directly because that's not really possible.